All right, I want to talk about the basics of railings. So those that are working at the residential division, those are 99% of your work is railings. I want to talk about 4 main points. When do we need a railing? Because a lot of times on a job site, even though you're told to do X, Y, and Z, sometimes we miss certain spots where they need a railing. Second, what are the codes for railings? This is the most important one because this plays a role on how you build it here in the shop and how you build it on site. 3, we're going to show you a diagram, the basic railing that 99% of our work is. 4, I'll give you 2 examples of our material that we use for the railings. Now the question is, when are railings needed? Very basic. 2 reasons a railing is needed. First reason, let's say if this is a porch and it's above 30 inches. So anything that is larger than 30 inches off the ground is going to need a railing. So if there's any adult or child goes on a porch, they don't fall off and break their neck. Second reason why you need a railing. If you have more than 3 risers, not steps, but risers, because the landing counts as a riser as well. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And anytime you exceed 3 risers, you need a railing, even if the landing on top is less than 30 inches. Why, you might ask? So if anybody elderly is going up the stairs, and even though the steps are wide, they still need something to be able to hold on to as they're going up. In certain instances, we don't always need pickets, but in a general, I'm talking about anything above 30 inches above the ground, or anything that's more than 3 risers. Now, let's say there's a wall on the back side, and it's less than 30 inches here. In that case, all we can do is build a wall rail, and which you guys should be familiar with. So, anytime anything's above 30 inches, we need a railing. Anytime we have more than 3 risers, we need a railing. And if we have both situations where it's less than 30, but we have 3 risers, we can add a wall rail if there's a wall. A lot of you guys ask me, what is the code for railing? It's very basic when you build a railing. Let's say in an instance when you have to have a railing on top because it's 40 inches above the ground and you have more than 3 risers. In this case, when you build a railing on the landing, it has to be higher than 36 inches. 36 inches is the minimum from the floor to the top of your railing. Now, the height on the steps, on the treads, it has to be from the edge of the step to the top of your railing has to be minimum of 34 inches. So as you're building these rails, landing has to be minimum 36. On the steps, on the treads, minimum of 34 inches from the edge of the step going top. So anytime you measure these, double check that you have it leveled, so that way you don't have it inclined and you think you have more or less. Now the biggest also role is the space between the balusters. The maximum space is 4 inches. In our shop, we try to make it to 3 3/4, 3 7/8. Why? So we don't take that risk of ever exceeding that 4 inches. In which case, if one single one exceeds 4 inches, the whole railing has to be redone because of that one piece. Majority of our railings are between 2 columns on a landing. And we have a very basic standard the way we built them. I'm going to draw you the standard, and yes, there's circumstances in which that standard changes. But unless we are told specifically something changes, this is the way we build them. Here's a good example. Here's just a regular rail, top rail, post, channel, without the base plates just yet. We cut the post at 35 7/8. The reason why is whenever we cut a full 20-foot 1.5 inch tubing and we cut it at 36, the last piece becomes too short to be able to use. So when we say we use a 36-inch post, in reality what we mean is 35 7/8. Then we have base plates that go on the bottom, and then the thickness of the top rail. So when you account for 35 7/8, a 1/4 inch base plate, and a thickness of the top rail, it exceeds the minimum that we need of 36-inch rail. The spacing that we use between posts and the edge of the top rail is 3.5. We cannot exceed 4 inches because that's the code, but we try to bring it out as much as we can so it's easier to add that screw to the column. When you measure out your frame in the shop, measure out from the channel to the bottom of the tubing of the 1.5 inches at 2.25, so that when you add your base plate, it comes out to 2.5 inches. So as an overcap, 35/7/8 post, we use 1/4 inch base plates. The space between the channel to the bottom of the base plate is 2.5 inches, and the spacing between the post and the edge of the top rail is 3.5. So these are our two basic standard railings. As you see, the tops are different, the balusters are different, but the post and channel size are the same. This one is a 2.25 top rail. 99% of the time when we have a 2.25, they're always 3/4 balusters. Some specialty jobs will do a little different. 99% of the time, same with this. Anytime we use an 1.75 inch top rail, we always use 5/8 balusters unless we're told otherwise. They're very similar. So anytime we're building a 1.75 inch, we use 5/8 and a 5/8 punch channel. Anytime we use a 2.25, we use 3/4 balusters and a 3/4 punch channel.